Straight off the porch, out of the mud. Hey, you know about that track. Straight off the bus, I'm moving there. I did it like you know how we turn around. And bail me out, it's multiple controls. I'll even guess in. This ain't no game, but I can play it. I'm coming in like Ted King. This nigga's a bitch, and I know it no more like a fuck nigga. I call him FN. Don't do too much talking, but I get them dancing whenever I put an F in. She gon' do it like 9. Every time I'm in the city, you know she gon' check in. She about whatever, she with that shit. But telling them I'm my best friend. Like a girl in the back, they got off the pill, look back in the kissing. Oh hell, they started without me, so I had to pull over just to tap in. I'm going off the purge, thinking they good. And they can't take it, they tap in. Cause it's so wet for taking a swim. I'm out and off in the deep end. Niggas hate, but I got them niggas on go. Won't catch me slacking. Around my days like they working for a tip. Them DVS diamonds dancing. And most of these niggas out here that's rapping movie stars. Boy, they be acting. I'm going back and meaning I'm back. And all really nothing back. Yeah. Rolling the slab was straight out of Houston. Shot with the niggas is boosting. I get the Louis Chanel and Gucci. Bought me a rollie and attracted coochie. I beat it off like repelling. And she let me fuck, I ain't telling. Most of my dogs are felons. Their stories be very compelling. Whoa, and ain't the products I'm selling. Moving waist like I work out. She popping perks, bring a perk out. Gotta see it stars in the perk clouds. On my hustle by some bread. Kitty, give me head. All of my friends are dead. Yeah, Holliton's made a lead. Yeah, covered in diamonds and good cologne. She look away to your bitch gone. This shit I had about 10 phones. Connect, know I get that shit gone. Know I put that shit on. Fresh nigga at every yo. She know why she my hoe. It's my life about to live more. What up, man? Welcome to Q-JaxXx City, man.
What it do?
Season 1, episode 3. We in this thing, man. We got a few issues to talk to y'all about tonight. We talking affirmative action. We talking renting versus owning. We talking what else?
We talking affirmative action, rent versus owning, student loan forgiveness.
Student loan forgiveness. We talking charges against a mom and a teen and a murder. Went in the wings spot and gained some wings. It's a saying.
Yeah, what they said, he went in to get a hamburger and came out with some wings.
God dang.
Yeah, that's wild.
So anyway, man, let's hop into it. This week, in the Supreme Court, they have overturned.
They overturned.
We looking at the notes.
Hey, look, we did some research for y'all this time.
Come on, man. What they overturned? I need to know.
So they had two big decisions this weekend. Number one, with Biden's student loan forgiveness plan.
So we ain't gonna pay them back?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Who?
So let's go to
this. Ain't paying. Who? Tell Biden call me.
Look, man.
Sir.
Biden's not taking any calls.
Yeah, dang.
Biden's not taking any calls.
Well, actually, you know what? This had nothing to do with Biden. While we trying to blame Biden. Yeah. Biden actually passed a law so that we would not have to pay those student loans back. But Supreme Court overruled that decision, so all those student loan payments that had stopped right around COVID time, whatnot, they are going to be popping back up. So Nailnet, they're gonna be calling y'all. Go ahead and block Nailnet. Tell them we ain't paying nothing. Yep. So, but I mean, I think that's definitely something that was not too thought out, because really the people that's going to affect is the people who are already disadvantaged. Or
on there, like you said, to get like a little background on it with the validation of it, it was divided on the 6-3 on ideological lines. It ruled the program was unlawful exercise of presidential power because it had not been explicitly approved by the Congress. That's one thing.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the court rejected Biden's administration that the plan was lawfully under a 2003 law called the Higher Education Relief Opportunity for Students, also known as the HEROES Act.
Okay.
So this law basically says that the government can provide relief to recipients of student loans when there is a national emergency, allowing it to act to ensure that people are not in a worse position financially as a result of the emergency. So
so in that regard, you're saying because we had COVID happen, that discontinued the student loans.
See, now we know why.
Period.
Right.
But so really, it was never an act that was set in place to.
He was trying to get it
offset them student loans forever.
Right.
But
Biden wanted to.
Then when it got presented at Supreme Court, they said nah.
And not only that, a lot of
that
people,
makes sense.
What a lot of people not comprehending with the material on that also is that not every American would have been eligible for that. So it said that the plan would have allowed eligibility to people to cancel up to $20,000 in debt and cost more than $400 billion in order for that to go through. So 43 Americans would have been
43%.
Yes, would be eligible for that. But from the requirements, but see, we had to see what the requirements would be.
Well, I think, I'll be honest with you, not play a race card or whatnot. I think a lot of the foreign and black people would have been able to benefit from that.
Right.
And kind of a bailout on the back end of student loans they took in order to better their lives. So all in all, 43%, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of Americans that can definitely play with how we live in the whole nation. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole lineage of people that went to college.
Right.
You know what I mean? Probably 2 generations of people that would have been not having to pay debts and could.
And not only that, it's just gonna play. Cause me, I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with so I'm gonna keep 1,000 with the viewers. Like I was playing around. I was in college. I mean, I was doing my work. Don't get me wrong in college. But I was trying to get that check. So a lot of people just in college too to get that refund check, not buying books, not utilizing the money as intended.
That's true.
So now all of a sudden it's just like, we finna forget it. I mean, I guess it's a requirement in order to be able to be a part of that.
Right. But I mean, they're not forgiving anybody at this point. They have overtime. They said, nah, we ain't doing it. We want the money. So there it is with that.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
well, get that money up. So let's go with the all right, so most Americans approved of this decision by the Supreme Court restricting the use of affirmative actions. That is basically with college admissions doing with being able to judge on race. On Thursday, they set limits of affirmative action programs in cases involving public and private colleges and universities. They're able to use race as one factor into student admissions.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and say this. So affirmative action initially, why it was passed in the first place, is to kind of show favor to people who were deemed disadvantaged or deemed to have racial prejudice used against them. So this helped Black people in a time where we were not able to attend college and universities because of the skin color and whatnot. So it was a big thing back then. Now, to say that we've come a long way, yes.
True.
But in the same sense, are we still disadvantaged? Are we still prejudiced against? Yes. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I don't think that should be revoked or overturned. You know what I mean? I think that, maybe it should be revised, like a lot of the laws and stuff that are in the law books now. You know what I mean? A lot of them don't even make sense for this day and time.
Right.
So maybe it should have been revised somehow, but I don't think it should have been completely overturned. I would say that.
The crazy part about that is 52% of Americans approve, while 32% disapprove, 16% just like whatever, they don't know.
Right.
But to piggyback off what you said, you feel me? It said that division between racial groups was 58% of white and Asian Americans approved, while only 25% of Black Americans support this, and Hispanics, they split 40% to 40% approve and disapprove.
And I'm gonna tell you why the Hispanics are split. It all has to do with the racial divide and the economic divide of what we do for work. So the Hispanics, not to say they don't go to college, but most of them are not going to college. They're learning the trade, they're coming over and they're getting jobs there. Money, so they don't really care about affirmative action when it comes to college admission or whatnot.
Right.
On the flip side of that, African Americans are, more of them are trying to go to college now than ever. Right. You know what I mean? Kind of in my generation, it was kind of a 50-50, like your parents wanted you to go.
Right.
If you didn't go, they're kind of disappointed if you didn't go and didn't end up getting a good job or whatever it may be. But now a lot of them are going, whether it's for the culture of it, you know what I mean, or whether it's actually learn something or whatnot. But you know what I mean? Like then again, like I say, it's a strike against you know what I mean, black and minorities indirectly by mistake, if you want to call it that.
So do you think that this is going to still affect anything? Do you think they're going to actually go by this? I mean, they're going to have to, but at the same thing, I still think private colleges.
What it does, it opens up the legality of practicing prejudice,
right,
against,
because you can see that different colleges.
You can look at a name and say, "Oh, this person's this color." No, we're not going to admit them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just opened up the legality of this. I don't think this.
So it's like they're going in blind,
right
now.
So I don't think this is a good thing by any means.
Right. So so tap in. Let us know what you think about that, man. I guess they want to seem good, but I still think it's still gonna be what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Look, America ain't changed.
Not at all. All right, so moving along, people. Moving along. So Q hit me up, man. He's just like, man, look, I think this would be a good topic, which is true. Because a lot of people don't know the benefits and the negative aspects of part as far as renting a home and owning a home.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let's say both has its own benefits, but owning isn't for everybody, which is true. And a reason for so might be like for maintenance. You know, we talk about this sometimes. You know what I'm saying? With renters, they really have no maintenance costs or repair bills. They don't have to worry about any property taxes per se, but indirectly, I think it's still basically covered in the rent. I mean, all that stuff kind of basically covered in the rent, even with insurance on the property. But insurance on housing is a little more expensive, and renters usually have access to free amenities, you know, for pools and stuff like that. Depending on the community, you could live in a community of houses and everything that has, you know, some have community pools, etc., like that. But also, I don't know, homeowners usually have to make a sizable down payment before purchasing a home if they're dealing with homes with mortgages, while renters usually have to do like a security deposit that equals 1 month of that rent.
Right. Yeah. But I will say this. So having worked in the housing market and also in apartments before, I would say that right now, simply because mortgage rates are so high, so mortgage rates at one point in time, I'm thinking were below 3% for like 40 years. So when you got a 30-year mortgage, you knew kind of what you were looking at as far as payments and the overall. Oh shit! The overall total cost. But after COVID, the mortgage rate actually skyrocketed to above 7%. So as far as people buying houses right now, that has decreased drastically. You know what I mean? Like people are just not buying right now. It's just not a buyer's market.
Do you think that has something to do with the pandemic recently?
Yeah, it did. That's what I'm saying. So the mortgage rates went up, so people are not buying because 7% over a period of 30 years, that's a lot of money. So so people have switched and started renting because of that. So what I'm seeing is that people are gonna rent houses for say 5 years, 10 years, or maybe just 2 or 3 years. And instead of saying, oh yeah, that's my grandma's house, she's been living there 40 years. In 20 years, we'll be going through like, yeah, we lived there 5 years, we lived there 5 years, we lived there a couple years too. And I think the American dream of home ownership in itself is gonna die. You're gonna be renting, and that's just gonna be more conducive to the lifestyle and the job offerings that are happening right now. So with most jobs, you can be remote, or they might send you to different states or whatever it may be. So you don't have to be, you have to live in one place because you work at the plant that's up the street. You might not work at the plant that lives up the street. The plant might be in New York. You work for them doing the logistics, or you work for them doing something on the iPad. So you mobile. So therefore you don't even have to buy a house in a certain place. So some people won't even have to buy it and will choose not to buy it just so they can be mobile with their jobs. But I think more people are going to be renting in the future than buying.
Do you think they'll be renting more on the housing market or the apartment market?
On the apartment market, they're about the same house. So people are seeing, if you want the amenities, like you said, maybe you want to go to the apartments. Therefore, you have workout facilities, you got a pool, etc. But if you are not concerned about the amenities, you can pay about the same or less on a mortgage and get you a house and maybe have an extra room, an office, you know what I mean, some yard. So I mean, it's going to become a need-based type market. And like I said, I think more people are going to rent than buy. But the people that already own, I think they're going to keep. And either rent it out, renovate it and rent it out, or they'll just keep it because that luxury of home ownership is like dwindling. So I think, those people like, I own this, I paid 30 years on this, I'm keeping it.
So speaking of that, with some, like if you are renting out a house or whatever, of course the owner will be renting out that house.
Right.
So with on some contracts that have it, or what you sign, that the owner would not be responsible for any damages or maintenance issues like that, but the renter would have to be.
Right.
While in some instances, the owner will take care of that. So if you was renting out a home, what would you rather? Would you have them sign that saying that they will be responsible for all that?
Well, see, here's the pros and cons of that. Like I said, working in property management, I see the pros and cons of that. So this is the thing. Your house, that's one of your assets that you own.
Right.
So you want to take the best care that you can take of that house, whether you have a tenant or whether you don't have a tenant.
That's true.
If you have a tenant and say a flood happens, and it floods the whole bottom part of your house, it's going to ruin your floor and it's going to ruin your walls, your sheetrock, your baseboards. So it's going to take more money for you to pay out to fix that.
Right.
So therefore, if something like that were to happen, maybe I would assume the responsibility of fixing that, or having them notify me to fix that, so I can fix it as soon as possible, so that I can minimize the damage. Therefore, I don't have to pay as much, and and my asset is worth more.
Right. So at the end of the day, that makes sense, because once the renter, the occupant, they move out, and if you're like, well, I didn't want to deal with it, and they didn't deal with it, now you paying out more money to fix up.
No, I'm telling you right now. Now, once like mold and mildew get inside the walls and all that, we talking major money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, I write scopes of work or whatnot for maintenance and construction, and if you got to rip out all the sheetrock and do all the flooring, and basically if you got to rip it out and all you got left is a frame, rebuilding that house is going to cost you a lot of money nowadays. One, because lumber is expensive, sheetrock's expensive, labor is expensive. So I mean, it's gonna take some money. So like I say, I think it's gonna be need based, rent versus owner.
Right. So both has its pros and cons.
For sure.
It just depends on the person.
Right.
All right, cool, man. That was good. So last one. So I don't know if any of you seen the video. If you haven't, you might want to check it out.
It's kind of a hood edition here.
Yeah, we had to put a little something in for the hood. You know what I'm talking about? So it's just like, dude went in. Well, no, dude was in there. Mom goes in. I don't know the backstory on it. All I know is
I don't know the backstory.
Did he know it or something?
No. We don't know the backstory if he knew her.
Oh, that's what I was wondering. I saw like they were in there. I don't. Maybe you know why they was arguing. I don't know why they was arguing. You know why they were arguing?
I don't know why they were arguing.
So nobody knows. If you know what happened, please tap in and let us know why they were arguing. But anyway, she was up there ordering. He was just talking. I guess he might have been tweaking. He was talking mad noise. You feel what I'm saying? And he was just like, "I'm gonna knock you out. Say one more word. I'm gonna knock you out." So, of course, he proceeded to, I guess, knock her out. And he hit her repeatedly. But at the time when he was saying that, her 14-year-old son came in at the door, hoodie on, like most young kids do, had his hands in his pocket. Now, I do want to know where the kid got a gun from. I do want to know other things. We get on that too. But guy starts hitting his mom repeatedly, and he ended up up on him. So multiple times, not just one. So in his mind, I'm gonna get on that before I say that. What you would have did if you would have been in that predicament? Not now being a man, because you can knuckle up with a dude.
No,
now,
I probably still would have shot him. I ain't fighting no more. I would have shot him. It is what it is. Like somebody beating up my mama, and I come in on it, you getting shot.
So how you feel about the kid? Like he might have. They said,
and it might have been his mama gun. It might have been in the car. He could see it from the car. So I'm not questioning where he got the gun. And it ain't my business.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure with him being, maybe he thought he couldn't, knuckle up with him or whatever, because it's a grown man. He's 14, so he brought the gun in. And the dude didn't just hit his mom once.
No, he was 4-5 times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I would have killed dude too. So I think it was justified. That's why they dropped the charges.
Yeah, and so they also dropped the charges because, like you said, at first they were going to pursue it as a murder case. You feel me? But with the video, and that's another thing, people have the phones. Why didn't anybody else intervene? Would you have intervened if you would have seen that and the lady?
People not gonna get in that.
That's what I was saying.
What I mean? Because they gonna have to up the pole, or they gonna have to deal with whatever consequences. So people think about that. People record this, but recording sometimes it's negative, but sometimes it's positive. I seen it change a couple cases here recently where people have recorded because they have video evidence. It showed, you know, who was the aggressor, who was not, based on if you just told the story, you might think the aggressor is this person. And then once you see the video, you're like, oh, he was the aggressor, so he's actually the victim. So, you know, these phones have actually helped and hurt cases. But, you know, I've seen where they've gotten people off of what would have been a life sentence for sure.
And see, that's what happened. And the 14-year-old boy evidently came in with the intent to kill, because he did that one. He didn't just shoot him once to get him off. He shot him multiple times. Yeah. Not only that, I must say, he must have been a kind of pretty good shot for the fact that he didn't hit anyone else and he didn't shoot his mom. Right. So that's a good thing. So the evidence of the phone changed the prosecution mind to say, hey, we're going to drop the charge.
GTA Online, he's been popping dudes. It's the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Different controller. My man said
he's going in. He ain't playing no game. So they dropped the charge.
I'm not glorifying the violence, but he was justified. He had to pop him.
Yep, he did. I agree, man. He had to do that to do it. That's mom. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
But yeah, man. But that's gonna wrap up season 1, episode 3. You can catch us on Instagram at Q.Davis, at QDOTDAVIS, and the number 1.
Definitely catch me on the IG, JaxXxon, JaxXxon_XON. Y'all already know what to do.
Yeah, so subscribe, like, leave a comment, tap in with us. We got some new concerts popping off real soon. So yeah, tap in with us.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July.
You know what I mean? Don't see you tomorrow. It's on. We'll holler at you. Yeah, man.